I found an interesting question as I was surfing, and, well, for strange reasons, accidentally, I also got again back on Reddit. And the question there was, what do people think about having AI companions? And, well, different kinds of AI companions. And I was thinking, let me try to formulate an answer for myself, though, if I were to ever provide one. And it feels interesting in a way because what I felt intuitively is that these AI companions are more or less, partly, not always, they are the result of a certain kind of abuse that has been going on, especially towards men. When we look at some of the graphs and the such, many people think and say that, um, well, a lot of men go through a lot of abuse when it comes to relating to women. Now, when it comes to abuse, I kind of rarely look at it as it being one directional, but given the fact that there are a lot of fucked up people, usually it's gonna be one directional. Because when there are fucked up people that we can think of, yes, especially Karens and their male counterparts, with those kinds of people, there is only one directional abuse. Because irrespective of how much you retaliate, they will always retaliate a thousandfold, making your own retaliation look like it never even happened. Yes? So these are the kinds of people that obviously a sick society needs because these are the ones who create chaos. Chaos creates pain, and well, obviously, pain wants vengeance, and vengeance is that which obviously divides people. And small groups of divided people are easy to control by the masses. Yes, this is something that, well, this sick society has been, well, tinkering with for a very long time. Even social media were designed to keep people somewhat deviated from who and what they are, and obviously deviating from, well, being humans. Because when you relate yourself to pictures and to writings on someone's social media wall, that doesn't mean that you're necessarily relating with them. That means that you're just dealing with some writing on your screen, and that doesn't equate to anything, because a person will act in a way when you don't know them. They will act probably in a slightly different way when you get to know them. They will act in a slightly different way, or even more, when you are close to them, and obviously they will act in a different way when you are married to them. Yes. And well, the whole humanity has figured out the bad quality of a lot of women and, well, obviously the bad quality of people in general. So when it comes to this, well, you can see socially that there is a great divide appearing. You see a lot of modern women preferring cats over people, and obviously you see many men preferring to be alone, or some of them even end up embracing the idea of AI companions, usually anime girls or whatever. But the point is, these two simply point out a certain lack of the opposite. When I look at cats, I usually see nothing else but predators. I only see a creature that is never emotionally available. A creature that, in terms of development, it developed itself. It appeared as a singular being, a being that does not necessarily like social gatherings, and usually those are more or less when the food supplies are somewhat constant. In places, for example, in cities where they are well, cats are well fed, they will usually be also living in small groups, and they will be somewhat okay one with the other. But when food is scarce, even in a city or the such, well, you will see the cats will not accept other individuals that easily. They will have strict authority, and they will bully one another in case that is the point, right? In case they have to affirm one another. A lot of fucked up modern women also function in the same principle. It is much easier for them to create toxic delusional groups and hide the reality one from the other and invent all sorts of silly points, excuses, and constantly rehearse all the bad points that they have as something good. Yes, a sick society will convince you that your deviance, your idiocy, your denaturation is the best way to go, and not only that, it will entrench you. It will teach you to entrench yourself in those dehumanizations by making you feel proud as well of those. So not only you are embracing your downfall, you're also embracing the pride of that, which is yet another downfall. Yes, pride is always looked at as the downfall of humanity. And also, you are taught to simply embrace it as your comfort zone. These people are always lost. There is literally no diplomacy with those. There is literally no communication with those. Those people are simply lost, whether women or men, whether hot or ugly, it simply does not matter. There is literally no talking even to those, because even when you want to talk with those, they're not interested in talking to you. They all want to just dominate the discussion. They just want to always feel correct. They will always be loud and lousy, and they will always interrupt because they are slaves of their standpoints. Yes? They are not fighting for their points of view necessarily. They can't care much about that. They only care about their fake group of people who apparently share the same interests. That is the point of, well, the purpose of NGOs, to brainwash people. Many of those, not all, but there are many who simply brainwash the almost existing neurons and the tired neurons of such people to simply bow down before all sorts of degeneracy, just so that they appear as yet another pain in the butt of the sane society. Now, when we look at things, as I said, a cat is nothing else than a parasite. Usually, that's how I see them. It just craves food, attention, and it feeds for free on your own negativism, which you put out because, well, we're all taught and programmed to constantly think the worst possible things. A cat can also give you some company, yes, but it's gonna sleep most of the time, it's gonna fart, it's not gonna produce you anything. It's not gonna cook, it's not gonna do literally anything for you. It's gonna be a shitty critter to have. It always leaves a lot of fur and you have to clean after it. But at least somewhat it's less maintenance. You don't need to walk it around like a dog. But a dog can be very useful, and well, especially if you take the time to train them to be the exact companions that you may need. When it comes to AI companions, there is a very big similarity with cats. Cats are available all the time in a way because they are there in your home, and obviously they will usually sleep most of the time, much like you're not going to use your AI agent that much. When it comes to AI girlfriends, then now that's a big problem that, modern women cannot compete with. Men who are simply through with dealing with real women, they can deal with these so-called AI agents because they are trained in a way to be yes proofers. Whatever you say, usually they will agree to it, to a certain extent, obviously, but they will tend to be nice and to provide you answers in a cutesy way and things like that. And, compared to a modern person who can be usually toxic, who can be usually tired from work and, well, stressful environments, toxic people around them constantly draining them, people will not always be readily available to you. Now, an AI agent is always going to be ready for you. They're always going to provide answers based on how you ask for them and what you ask for. And usually there's not going to be much sugarcoating. There are there are bits of research on the internet that are saying a lot of women are making use of AI agents to simply scan for men and their profiles when it comes to social media dating. Yes. And to see whether those men are a good fit. See, I would never believe or trust, let's say, an algorithm to simply find me someone whom I might be compatible with. Yes. And using an AI agent that by design is functioning to somewhat yes proof you. Yes. Well, the point is, and also to kind of agree with you, whatever you feed it, you can't expect a delusional fucker to feed the AI the right things. And when you give wrong or distorted ideas to a machine, they will analyze that data and obviously they will give you somewhat of a favorable answer. Those fucked up women don't necessarily want a man, they just want to waste their time making it look like they're looking for a man. They're just looking for an asset. Yes, and in the end, we all know that they will end up with two or three cats. Because when I see women having cats and giving them theoretically excessive attention, that stinks of an absent father figure and more or less daddy issues. Because what I see cats as is just some kind of natural predator who obviously can't care much about you, but since you give it food for free, obviously you make its life easier, so well, it will tend to bond with you from time to time, but it's all just purely conditional, much like their love with a man would be, should they ever reach that level. But those women will always be like that. They will always demand all sorts of things for free, much like a cat does, and obviously they will not give almost anything at all. Probably a bit of attention here and there, just like cats would do. Yes, what's alike goes alike. Always look for patterns, always look for repetitions, and always study the people that you have around because humans are not that difficult to observe. Or, well, I might have a lot of experience compared to other people on this, especially since my environment needed this a lot. Now, when it comes to AI models, well, someone can enjoy the attention of those in a very good way. The point is, I look at this as it being a bit delusional because spending time with an AI aspect, it might have the body of your favorite anime character, your waifu, whatever you want to call it. But in the end, it is something that it does not actually have a body. Yes? And this is what makes the difference in between a delusional man or woman and someone who is just interested in listening to a voice that won't necessarily judge them. Yes? This is somewhat normal, I would say. Because in the end, you're making use of an AI for something. AI can be used in recreational purposes, AI can be used to learn things, and well, you can look at things in different ways. Everything in this world has a tint of madness. Now, it depends whether you keep it as a tint of madness, a bunch of madness, or you simply slip beyond that into full delusional states. Yes? You can use AI to simply learn. Maybe you want to learn and maybe you want your companion to have the, let's say, image of a hot secretary or I don't know, the macho guy, depending on what people are into. I do not see much of a problem in that. Living alone can be good to recharge your batteries, but extended or too prolonged loneliness can harm the majority of people because many people are simply not designed and not ready, not prepared to simply face loneliness for a long time. Is this a big problem? This is only a social adaptation. This will simply burst into a longing to communicate with human beings. This will get fixed once a certain percentage of delusional women will get back into communicating straightforward with other people. Not necessarily with men, but with other people. Because obviously, feminism, as any part of communism or, well, obviously Zionism, has one simple purpose to transform everything related about life into a charade. Because that is what, or basically said, the only thing that they can perceive. Those parasites of consciousness can only perceive nothing else than everything about you being bad, everything about you being a sin, everything about you having to be exterminated because it is way too convoluted for them and they have to do so much effort to try to comprehend it. So why not uh, give the so why not give themselves the right to simply pose themselves as gods and, well, lead the world to its own extermination. Yes, that is the ultimate wet dream of narcissists, to be the ones that caused the end of all things. Yes. So when it comes to these AI models and the such, the problem for their counterparts, their biological counterparts, is that these AI models are always available, so long as you have an internet connection, that is. But you can create your own AI model and use it offline in your own home, depending on how complex you want it to be, and, well, what resources you have. But the point is, they are readily available and they will always be there with answers to almost each and every question that you have. Whether you want to use them for fantasy issues, for different endeavors, or even scientific purposes, AI models will always be there. Now, do not forget the free versions that we are using, even the ones that now you have to pay for, they are still nothing else but, you know, a tool that is given for free. You can't expect that to be perfect. There are far more advanced ones that are being used by the military and by highly advanced, research laboratories and the such. Those are more or less the real AIs. Yes? And when people spend time with the such, they do so because these models are designed in a way to replicate human behavior very well and to simply provide you answers in a non-judgmental and, obviously, more importantly, in a objective way. Yes, that is very important for a lot of people because objectiveness is something that people seek. Subjectivity nowadays is shunned away because in most situations it is looked at as even being judgmental, especially nowadays since it feels like any word that you're speaking is easily interpretable by some idiots as you saying something or you being against something. Nowadays it's like almost, if not near impossible, to communicate with many people because they're not there to communicate with you. They're there to tell you how idiotic they are, how entrenched they are in their stupid, idiotic words, in their stupid concepts. Yes? They are there to show you how much of a slave they are in their own beliefs. And a belief, well, it means nothing else but accepting something without a necessity for proof. So hopefully this video raised a bit of awareness. You are appreciated. Take care. Enjoy life. This being said, Ferenc Board signing out.